Hey guys, we'll get started here in about 2 minutes. We'll get started here in about a minute, guys. We're trying some different technology today. Somebody just type in, yes, I can hear you, if you can hear me, so I can make sure that technology is working. Somebody just do a Y there so they know it. I can hear you, and you can hear me. Anybody, can you type in a Y? So Allie, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry. Someone came
Okay,
over and
so is
asked me a
everybody,
question.
okay, so I can't see anybody know he's talking to me, but hopefully they can hear me. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started.
All right,
So
sounds
do you
good.
see any comments or anything, Allie?
No, not yet.
Hmm. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and start, and hopefully they're hearing us. So go ahead.
Perfect.
So I hope you guys had a good summer's winding down here. We've got about a month left, or about a month left. So I want to talk a little bit about how you can utilize this month in the most efficient manner possible. So first of all, just a reminder, guys, if you want to learn anything, I'm going to drag this up here. We have our library, so I'll drag up our website here. And if you go down to library and then go to audio video school, if you want to know the best way to get started with 5Q, we have it all right here. If you want to understand the 21 Light process better, we have all these tutorials here, the 21 Light training. We have all the different scripts you might need in 21 Light, how to handle a do-it-yourselfer. These are all the agreement meeting tutorial type tapes and things you might run into. What if they just want to talk about money? What if they just want to talk about product? What if they say they want to shop around at the first meeting? How to handle all those things. Disclosure meeting, the 21-point checklist. We have obviously the training video, and then we have, can I take the 21-point checklist with me? Handling yappers and question askers. So we have all sorts of things. Anything you'd ever have run into in a meeting, you're going to find those tutorials here. Tutorials on the survivor's guide, the will, the trust, power of attorney, medical power of attorney, quality life directive, identity theft, property casualty, title, beneficiary, all the way down, all 21 issues, and you have the tutorials here and things you might run into. Also, there are audios that you can listen to your car, etc. The implementation meeting, FIA meeting, telling presentation, the training, how an FIA works, audio, get the client to say they want an annuity, audio, the sale program, 2 trainings here, how to handle different objections, marketing, getting the statements at the first meeting, getting appointments at the event, getting appointments with Social Security and Medicare clients. So all sorts of training here. Anything you might have run into, you're going to find it right here on the website, okay? So things I'll get from, comments I get from advisors as well, but Mike, I don't have, you have great training material. The website is huge. It's robust. In fact, you got 20 years of information there. I don't even know how to get through it. I don't know what to do. Well, let's talk about how we can arrange your day to find more time to do these things. Mike, I think the scripts are awesome. I just don't have time to do them. Mike, I think the 15-minute drill is awesome. I just don't have time to do it. So how many of you would like me to, if I could wave a magic wand and give you an extra 4 hours a day, an extra 240 minutes a day, how many of you would want that? Give me yays or nays, yes or no. Yays or nays? Yeah, of course you'd want those extra 4 hours. So how do we do that? Well, what we have to do, because most of us are ruled, our day is ruled by what we find as urgent. We have urgent things we need to get done. But guys, you can't let your day be run by urgent. You have to pay attention to what's truly important. Don't give in to the urge to constantly deal with the urgent. So what are some examples of urgent? A text we get, a phone call, the phone rings. We feel urgency to pick them up. We've been trained like Pavlov's dog to immediately text back. We've been trained to immediately pick up that phone. Is that what's truly important? Is that going to make you more money? Chances are not. So what's truly important? So what are some examples of truly important? Guys, we talked about this for years and years and years. If you do the 21-point checklist scripts as they're laid out, the client's going to say exactly what you want to say, which is that they're disgusted with their current advisor. If every client you sit down with tells you not once, but 100 times in an hour and a half that they're disgusted with their current advisor, how many of them are going to move? All of them. All of them are going to move. So would that be a skill that would be truly important for you to learn? Yes. And we also said that if you do these scripts, are you ever going to get objections? No, not if you do the scripts as they're laid out. So here's the thing. You need to arrange your day around what's important, not about what's urgent. So let's talk about how we can get rid of those urgent things and give you 4 extra hours so you can do the important things, okay? Because if all you do is come into the office and jump into your day, you're going to be wasting so much time. So first thing is make a plan. Plan out your day. Just don't show up, pour yourself a cup of coffee, and then start just doing whatever comes off your. Make a plan. Make a plan. Make a plan. Before you tackle a single task, do your most important 15-minute drill. What will happen if you delay reading your paper for 15 minutes? What will happen if you delay answering or looking at your emails for 15 minutes? What will happen if you delay listening to your voicemail for 15 minutes? Not a darn thing. But if you do your 15-minute drill, if you do that 15 minutes beginning of every single day, you're going to get 1% better a day, maybe 1% better a week. Most likely 1% better a day. Certainly 1% better a week. If you get 1% better a week, guess how much better you are by the end of the year? Then sit down and map out, what am I going to do today, doing the most important things first. How many meetings do you have? How much prep do they need? What else will you be working on? How much time will you be allowed to accomplish it? And put it in your calendar. So here's the thing, guys. When I was running 30 appointments a day, I was running 30 a day. Wow, holy cow. 30 appointments a week. I was averaging 30 appointments a week when I was making $1 million a year. Is that busy or not busy? That's extremely busy. But by using the 21-point checklist, guess what? Those were actual meetings. I did not put in my calendar Monday through Friday a time to do the 21-point checklist. And this is when I had to do them by hand. It was before I even had software. I had to do all of these by hand. Does anybody remember when I used to do my 21-point checklist? Because I didn't do them Monday through Friday. When did I do them? And I had 2 small boys at home that I want to spend as much time as possible with. I'm not telling you to do this, but I'm telling you this is what I did, and this is what I did when I was making $1 million a year. I came in on Saturday mornings at 7 in the morning on Saturday morning, and guess how focused I was on getting those things done. And I never, ever had to be at the office past 9 o'clock on Saturday morning. Never had to. So I always got all of my 20 points. So when I was working during the week, I was in front of people. I was not doing paperwork. I was not reading the paper. I was not looking at social media because it didn't exist then. I wasn't surfing the internet. I was meeting with people. And guys, if you're not meeting with people, guess what you should be doing? If you're not meeting with people, guess you should be figuring out how to meet with more people. Make sense? 80% of sales require 5 follow-up calls after the meeting. 44% of sales reps give up after the first follow-up. So one of the things you can do if you're trying to get a hold of somebody and they're not answering their phone is call at a different time each day. Don't call them every morning. Try early in the morning, late in the morning, try after lunch, try right before dinner. Call at different times, because if you call somebody at the same time every single day trying to get a hold of them, guess what? They might be playing tennis. They might be golfing. They might be doing volunteer work. So call at a different time of day. By doing this, you'll save 5 minutes a day. Not a big thing, but guys, these things are going to add up. So you'll save 5 minutes a day by knowing that when you're trying to get a hold of somebody, don't call them at the same time every day. At the beginning of the class, you guys are taking too many notes, and you never keep up with what I'm saying. 10 minutes later, you guys aren't taking enough notes, and you fail with my class if you don't take notes. Well, the other thing is take better notes. Take better notes at your meetings so you don't forget things. Take better notes when you're with your assistant, planning out your day. Take better notes when you're learning new concepts, when you're learning the 15-minute, learning the 21-point checklist, when you're learning the sale, when you're learning the FI. Take better notes. There's a great online. There's a great. This has actually been determined as the best. The Cornell 2-column notes technique is the best way to take notes. There are lots of tutorials online on how to do this. 7.5 minutes. So again, we're not talking about big time savers here, but 7.5 minutes, just say 7 minutes times a week is what? 5 days is what? That's a half an hour saved. So if you're doing things that require notes, make sure you're doing them intelligently. Schedule the next meeting at the meeting. Guys, this will save you so much time. At the end of the first meeting, when do you schedule the second meeting? At the end of the second meeting, when do you schedule the implementation meeting? At the end of that implementation meeting, if they still have questions, when do you schedule the next meeting? When do you schedule meetings? If they don't have their material with them, they don't have their tax returns, their statements, etc. At that first meeting, you want to schedule a next meeting for them to drop off those materials. Should you say, go home, look for those, and I'll call you and we'll schedule? No. They should never, ever, 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 ever leave your office without another meeting on the books. That will save you 20 minutes. I think this is a minimum 20 minutes, because chasing them down is going to take you way more than 20 minutes, generally, on average, to get them back in the office. So nobody should ever leave your office without another appointment. Are there other professionals in your life that do it this way? You don't leave until you have another appointment. Who else in your life does it that way? Does your dentist do it that way? Always have a clean desk. 25 minutes times 8, 25 minutes. Now, by having a clean desk, you always know everything is. 25 minutes. Now we're starting to get big chunks of time, but the biggest chunk is this. These are weapons of mass distraction. All of these social media accounts. And do we convince ourselves that we're actually being productive when we look at social media? Because, well, I'm actually looking at the news. I'm actually looking at my news on Facebook. I'm looking at guys. Should you be looking at the news or any of these things during your workday? Should you? Because this is the average time wasted by people on social media. 2 hours. And when I say social media, I'm also talking about reading the newspaper, looking at the news, quote unquote, doing research. That's 2 hours of wasted time every single day. Now we're adding up to real time here, real time wasted. And what could you be doing during that 120 minutes? Because think about it, guys. How does the fact that the market went down today affect you? Because the market's gone down. The market's in turmoil. Now, obviously, we're in the summer. Trading is really light. And when trading is really light, can the market move significantly? Sure it can. But I don't care if it's in the summer, if it's in the prime trade. I don't care when it is is the market going down like this? Should you be doing research and reading about it? No, if the market was, here's the thing. Give me something productive you could do today. With the market being as much turmoil as it is right now, rather than reading about it, what would be a productive thing that you could do? What would be a productive thing that you could do with the market being down and in turmoil? What would be a productive thing you could do? Go to your CRM and start having conversations. Reach out to clients, right, Andre? Reach out to clients. Reach out to clients. That'd be an extremely productive thing to do. Because Andre, with reading about the news and you trying to decipher what's happening and looking at the charts and looking at the unemployment and looking at is any of that going to help you, Andre? No. Reaching out to clients and prospects too. You're exactly right. And prospects too. Now would be an awesome time, because how many of your competition, Andre, do you think are calling their clients? Very few, because most advisors want to run away from this kind of thing. They don't run towards it. Guys, when there's a fire, I've told you this, when I was in the Navy, human nature is when there's a fire or when you're in a flood, human nature is to run away from it. They trained us to run towards it, which is the opposite of what most people want to do. Right now, you should be running towards the fire. Run towards the fact that the market's in turmoil. Talk to your clients. Talk to your prospects. Don't waste your time on the news, on newspapers. That is not going to make you money. That is not good. Hey, if you want to do it after hours, if you want to do it on the weekend, terrific. That's a great time to do it. That's very productive. During the working day, where should you be spending all of your time? You should be either in front of people or what? You should be either in front of people or what? Come on, guys. In front of people or what? Yes, trying to get in front of people. That's exact. Prospecting, exactly. So guys, put your phone away. Put your phone away. I'll tell you what, here's one of the things that people will tell me that they just don't have time, etc. And this is, if you want to figure out, if you want to make a ton of more money in the next 12 months, here's what you do. And I've had several advisors do this that were telling me that were really focused, Mike, what do you think the most productive thing that I could do in the next 2 weeks? And I said, here's the most productive thing you could do in the next 2 weeks. Pull out a spiral notebook or print a calendar with 15-minute intervals. So it has 8 o'clock, 8:15, 8:30, 8:45, 9, 9:15, 9:30, 9:45, all the way through the working day. Set a timer for 15 minutes. Every 15 minutes, when the timer goes off, write what you did during that last 15 minutes. Do that through the entire day, do that through the entire week, and do that through an entire next week. Guess how many of the advisors that I had do that even bothered going to the second week? They called me at the end of the first week, and what did they tell me? What do you think they told me at the end of that first week when they did that? When they were monitoring what they were doing every 15 minutes for a week, what did they tell me? How many minutes a day were they actually doing something productive? What would you guess? And I've been having advice now, not many, kudos to these advisors, because not many advisors are motivated enough, driven enough to actually do this exercise. So I probably only had maybe 30, 40 people, advisors in the last 20 years that have done this. But of those 30, 40 advisors, guess, and these were the motivated guys. These were the driven guys. These were the guys that wanted to make $1 million to $2 million a year. Guess how much time, and they thought and these guys were making good money. They just wanted to take it to the next level. They were making $300,000, $400,000 a year, but they want to get up to that $1 million, $2 million a year. So they're not lazy guys. How much time do you think that they were wasting on average? Many of these guys didn't even make it to Friday. They just called me and said, okay, I get it. How many of them do you think were spending more than half of their day actually working? Out of the 30, and again, I didn't write down exactly, but I would guess 30 or 40 guys. But I will tell you this, how many of those 30 or 40 guys, I would remember this, how many of those 30 or 40 guys spent more than half of their day actually working? Where I said, really, you did that, how's that going to make you more money? How many of them do you think? Zero. Zero, zero, zero. So if you want to make more money, Figure out how you're spending your day, and then insert productive things into all that time during the day that you're not doing something productive. Don't have a plan B. Don't have a plan B. You need to get things done that need to be done now. Get them done now. Don't wait until, oh, shoot, I'll do that tomorrow. No plan B. 20 minutes saved if you do this. The 12 things successful people do in the last 10 minutes of their workday. So put this in your calendar. Make this a habit. And how many times do you have to do something? What's the research show you? How many days in a row do you have to do something to make it a habit or have a great chance of making it a habit? How many days in a row do you have to do that to have a great chance of making that a habit? Anybody know? What's the research show? How much? Andre, you're on fire today. 21 days in a row will give you a high likelihood of making a habit. So what do the successful people do the last 10 minutes of the day? Well, they update their to-do list. And we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. How many things should be on your to-do list? Because it shouldn't be a to-do list, it should be a success list. How many things should ever be on your success list? 3. You should only have 3 things at most. And did you get all those 3 things done today? You better have. They organize your desktop again, like we said, clean that desk, make it neat and tidy. And I'm a pot calling a kettle black. If you looked at my office, I got piles of stuff on the floor, got piles on 3 horizontal surfaces, my desk and 2 tables. So yes, I'm the pot calling the kettle black. But that's how I organize. Somebody walking in would think that it was a tornado hit, but I know what I'm doing. But I think if I had more discipline to clean off my desk, it'd be even better. They review what they've achieved. Great. They take a moment to reflect on the day. What did I get accomplished today? What did I learn today? How did I get 1% better today? They vet urgent communications. So they look and say, okay, all those urgent things that I've delayed, because I was doing the important things, all those urgent things that I've delayed, okay, who should I follow up with before I go home? And they stay focused. That's the hardest time of day to stay focused because you're tired. You want to go home. They determine what their primary goals are for tomorrow. Plan your day, and don't plan your day tomorrow, but make sure you've written down the things you need to get done tomorrow. They review the schedule for the next morning. They say thank you to someone. Say thank you to someone. Shoot off a thank you note. Shoot off a thank you voicemail. Thank somebody. Show gratitude. You'd be surprised at how effective that is for new business, for your psyche, for the people around your psyche. Say thank you to someone. Say goodbye. Leave on a positive note, and then leave. And by the way, should you be taking your work home with you? When you leave, you should be what? Leaving. So create a nighttime ritual for more productive mornings. Nighttime rituals that are uber successful. Keep all electronic devices out of the bedroom. Keep all of your electronics. Don't watch TV in the bedroom. Don't be surfing your phone in the bedroom. We've all seen the research on what that will do to sleep. Read fiction 15 to 20 minutes right before sleep. Why fiction? You don't want to be doing nonfiction and learning about something because that gets your brain all fired up. Keep your sleep schedule on a schedule. Tidy up your bedroom. Don't have a messy bedroom. Lay out the things you'll need the next day. Ask yourself, did today matter? Did I get better at something? Did I make somebody's day happier? Did I show gratitude? Did this day matter? Ask yourself, what am I grateful for today? Because when you do all these things we're talking about, when you get an extra 4 hours, and guys, how many, show of hands, how many of you guys would say yes if you're even would say that you would be passing, that you would, not necessarily that you're fantastic at this, but that you would pass, have a passing grade on making a plan in the morning, on when you call people, call at different times of the day. When you take notes, you take notes effectively. Every single person, when they leave your office, has set an appointment for their next meeting. You have a clean and tidy desk. You're not on any time wasting electronic devices, whether it's your phone, your computer, etc., being used to do non-productive things. And again, reading the news is not productive. That you get things done You don't delay and say, I'll do them later. You just do them when the appropriate time is to do them. And that you spend 20 minutes at the end of every day organizing what you've done well that day and what you're going to do the next day, and have a productive. Do you have passing grades or not? Because here's the thing, if you do have passing grades, here's the thing. You should have mastered already the scripts and motive. You should have mastered and be doing that most effective 15 minutes daily and the GOTS skills, because they're doing it every single day. See, when you have the scripts down and you're doing the getting awesome at GOTS by doing the most important 15 minutes every day, you'll be bringing on every client you want. And if you bring on every client you want, how much prospecting are you going to be doing? Guys, if you can bring every client that you want, how many seminars will you do? How many mailers are you going to send out? How many client advisory boards to get referrals are you going to do? Unlimited. As many as possible. Exactly right. As many as possible. Because what is the number one reason people do not market? What is the number one reason people do not market? They don't want to waste their money. They don't want to market because they get in front of people. Because here's the thing, all marketing, I've never, when you're doing seminars, you're going to have people show up. People show up. And guess what the number one reason advisors tell me when they do seminars? That they don't want to do seminars again. Wasn't that people didn't show up. What do they tell me about the people? Wasn't that the people didn't show up. What do they tell me about the people? These people were unqualified. They weren't the right people. They weren't even interested in moving. They were talking, blah, 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 blah. They gave me all sorts of reasons these are the wrong people. Duh. Yeah, they're plate lickers, Tom, and tire kickers. They were plate lickers and tire kickers. Duh. Is there any marketing that's going to get in front of great people that are all ready to move? No, there's no marketing that's going to pre-sell clients. There was marketing that pre-sold clients. Guess what? We'd all be out of business because the mutual fund companies, the money managers, the annuity companies, they'd all bypass us and go directly to the consumers. So we have about 10% of people are do-it-yourselfers, but the other 90%, guess what? They're not coming to move. If they wanted to move, they would have moved a long time ago. So they're coming for the free meal. They're coming for the free information. They're plate lickers. They're tire kickers. They have no reason to move. But I've talked about this before. Do you remember me talking about that gentleman in Florida who retired, and he decided he was going to try to attend a free lunch, free meal, free lunch and a free dinner every day for a year. He didn't do that, but he did do it 200 times in a year, a little over 200 times in a year. Here's the funny thing, though. He was the epitome of tire kickers, plate lickers. He was only doing this to see how many he could do so he could write a book. But the funny thing is, out of the 200 sessions that he did, he actually moved forward with two of the people for two different products or services that they had. So that means 2 out of 200 plus means 99% of people were amateurs. So 99% of the advisors were amateurs, and 2 were what? 99% of them were amateurs, and 2 were what? Professionals. Because remember I talked about earlier, guys, let's go back to this. I'm going to go back to the website and the training. Drag it up here. We're going to go to the library, go to training, and we're going to go to marketing. Getting the appointments at the event. 4 minutes. All it takes is 4 minutes of listening to give you the exact way at events you can get people to make appointments. And I have had guys that had seminars set up where they had they had enough people that had reserved. They actually had 3 different seminars. And at the first seminar, they only had like 1 or 2 appointments out of 20 people in the room. 1 or 2 appointments out of 20 people in the room. So they called me and said, what am I to do? And I would say, well, do this. And basically, this is actually me telling them exactly what to do. Do this. And guess what they did? They did it. And they called and said, I did that. And then I said, did you tape it? And they said, yeah. So we listened to it and we found out, oh, wait, they didn't do it. They got, instead of 1 or 2 appointments, they got 4 appointments. But I said, you didn't do it, so we role played then. Let's role play this. How are you going to do this? How are you going to do this? How are you going to do this? And we role played just for like 20 minutes, just for 20 minutes. And then at the third event, they were doing it with the same mailing list to the same, with the same seminar. And all they did was then actually follow through exactly as I laid out there, how to get appointments. And they got appointments with every single person in the room but one person. Every single person in the room but one person. And here's the thing I would say about that. Generally, if you have three seminars, where should you get the highest appointment ratio? At the first one, the second one, or the third one? You should get it at the first one. Why? These were the people that were most eager to get in to see the seminar. You should get the lowest at the third, because these are people like, well, I don't know, I guess I'll go ahead and go. By following the technique, which is extreme, I mean, it's a technique I could teach to a 7th grader, a 9th grader, a 12th grader, somebody in college, a college grad, somebody that's not a college grad. It's an easy technique to do. And guess what happens? You get appointments in. And when you get appointments, if you do the first appointment right, and you do at the end, the 5 unique selling propositions, and ask them which one of those things they want, you're going to get all of them to go through the 21-point checklist. If you then have mastered the scripts, guess how many people are going to want to move all their money to you? All of them. If they all want to move their money to you, how easy is it going to get them to then follow your recommendations with their money? So guys, I've given you 4 hours to remove all excuses that you do not. So the excuse that I do not have time has gone away. If you do not want to make as much money as you want, if you're making as much money as you want right now, God bless you. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm not here to tell you need to make more money. But if you do want to make more money, then it's not because people are tired of marketing, because they're not. You can get people to come to your seminar. You can get people to respond to you. So it's not that. It has nothing to do with the economy. It has nothing to do with marketing is saturated. It has nothing to do with, these people are just tire kicks and plate lickers. What does it 100% have to do with? What does it 100% have to do with? Your desire. Will you do anything possible to make more money? Well, look at your calendar. Will you do that little the little test that I gave you, which is have a calendar with your day broken up into 15-minute segments with a timer to write down what you're doing after 15 minutes? Will you do that? Will you spend the first 15 minutes of your day doing the most important 15-minute drill to get and stay awesome at the 15-minute drill? For the first time in 24 years, now that I'm getting close to retirement, I'm not doing that anymore. But up to last week, guess what I did every day? Working day. The 15-minute drill. Why? To keep my skills high. And there's nobody better at me, but I'm still doing that drill. Now, I won't be any more going forward, but I was. So that's how you keep your skills high. If you really want to make that kind of money, how good should you be? All the guys that I know that have made $1 million a year, guess how good they were at the 21-point checklist, the script. How many of those people made $1 million or more a year and weren't awesome at the script? None. And I'll say probably the person that I've seen, the lowest income I've seen was somebody that I listened to the tape, and they were awesome. They were awesome at the 15-minute drill. Not the 15-minute drill. They were awesome at the scripts. And I imagine they were good at the 15-minute drill. I don't know. But when I listened to the tapes of them with the clients, they were awesome with the scripts, and they were good with the gossing. The lowest I've ever seen anybody make with that is $450. And there's a reason that they weren't making $1 million a year, and I won't get into that, but because it was a personality trait. But that's the lowest. And I think that's the only person I've seen who had the 21-point checklist mastered that wasn't making it at least. And again, well, I'll take. There's one other person I know, and the reason that he's not able to do it is because he's at this point not able to find an assistant. Because if he had an assistant, he'd be making very, very close to $1 million a year. So, any of the other guys I've talked to or worked with, and this is going back 20 years, and making $1 million a year, were awesome at the 21-point checklist. So guys, you have a month now before Labor Day to learn and get better at these things. You have no excuse now because the thing, I don't have enough time. We found you time. Now it has to do with your desire. Make sense? Awesome. Well, you guys have a terrific rest of the day and a terrific week, and we will talk to you all next Monday. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.